A descendant of Jedi Knight Ulic Qel-Droma, Quaig Locke was a Force-sensitive mercenary who frequently worked with Imperial intelligence during the Golden Age of the Galactic Empire. After killing a group of Imperial officers, Locke was brought before Emperor Palpatine, who was impressed by the young man's skill. Palpatine then made a deal with Locke. If he defeated him in combat, he would be allowed to kill the Emperor and escape unharmed. But if Palpatine won, Locke must swear loyalty to the Emperor and become one of his dark side Inquisitors. Locke was defeated, and after swearing loyalty to the Emperor, was made an Inquisitor and was trained personally by the Emperor. Taking up the name Sedriss, the young Darksider quickly rose to prominence among his peers, winning many battles for the Empire, and was considered by Palpatine to be his greatest disciple, next to Darth Vader. After the destruction of the second Death Star, Sedriss, like many Darksiders, took up residence on the world of Biss, where he awaited the Emperor's return. Finally, in 10 ABY, Sedriss led the Darkside adepts during the Empire's return, and even helped lead the Empire in the Emperor's absence, following his defeat at the hands of Luke Skywalker. Sedriss was once again tasked with the elimination of Skywalker by the once again revived Emperor, chasing the Jedi Master to the planet Ossus. After being defeated by Luke, Sedriss attempted to kill the Yasani native gem, but was subdued by the ancient Nitai Jedi Ood Benar. Not wishing to admit defeat, Sedriss attempted to kill Benar, but Benar's greater mastery of the Force caused the pair to be destroyed in a blinding flash of Force energy. Sedriss is remembered for his brutal nature and willingness to do whatever it takes to get the job done.
130 years after the Battle of Yavin, Darth Nihl, an Imperial Fist, or military commander serving the Dreadlord of the One Sith regime, Darth Krayt, spearheaded an assault on the Jedi Praxium located on the planet Ossus. During the attack, Darth Nihl dealt a fatal blow to the Jedi Master Cole Skywalker, earning himself a place of high status amongst the One Sith as Darth Krayt's personal hand. Darth Nihl began life on his species' homeworld of Nagi as a warlord before coming to the attention of Darth Krayt, who recruited him into the Sith ranks. Unlike the majority of his contemporaries, Nihl was not born a Sith. While this functioned to his detriment, as he was often looked over by his master in favor of beings like Darth Talon, who were born into the Sith Order, it was also one of the qualities that caused Nihl to stand out amongst the Sith of his day. Due to the fact that Nihl knew what it felt like to be a master of his own fate, and had lived a life of conquest for his own glory, he retained an ambitious streak throughout his years of service to Darth Krayt. Over the course of the war, Nihil's duty would bring him into conflict with his rival Darth Talon, as well as Cade Skywalker, who was the son of Cole. Following Darth Krayt's defeat at the hands of the young Skywalker, Nihl took command of what remained of the Sith forces and ordered the Sith back into hiding, where they would await the opportunity to once again strike from the shadows.
Hey guys, Matt here. Welcome to the second collaboration between myself and DevinNova95. As you may or may not know, we collaborated back in February for the first time with Darth Warlock III versus Kyle Katarn, and we both want to work together again. Evan received this request a few weeks back, and so we both decided to proceed with Darth Nihl versus Sedriss. So with that said, thanks for watching and enjoy.
First, we will compare them physically. Sedriss is a 30-year-old human male and is in very good shape. As a former mercenary, Sedriss sports a muscular build and fast reflexes. Sedriss was also a capable unarmed fighter, and was said to have literally beaten enemies to death on a few occasions. Due to his heavy immersion in the dark side, Sedriss has suffered some dark side degradation, with yellow and red eyes and deathly pale skin.
A species native to the world Nagi, located within the unknown regions, the Nagai were a race of slender humanoids with translucently pale skin, jet black hair, gray eyes, and angular features. There are no inborn genetic advantages or disadvantages to be noted which set Nagai apart from members of the human species. During Cade Skywalker's escape from the Sith Temple on Coruscant with the aid of his mother, Nihl suffered the loss of his arm during a fierce lightsaber duel. In a fit of rage, Darth Krayt ordered Darth Melody to refit Nihl with an arm of a Yuuzhan Vong creature, rather than his own severed arm. However, Darth Nihil's performance in battle did not appear to be hampered because of this. Examining the respective physiologies and levels of physical fitness, there isn't much of a disparity here. Neither will be awarded the edge for physical attributes, as they are equal in terms of how they stack up against each other.
Now we compare them as martial artists and lightsaber duelists. Sedriss was a very skilled warrior and was said to spend much of his time improving his dueling skills. He was, after all, considered to be Palpatine's greatest dark side servant next to Darth Vader, a title you wouldn't be given if you were weak. While no source confirms his style, after careful evaluation I've been able to piece together his preferred style. To put it bluntly, Sedriss was a powerhouse with a very strong and aggressive lightsaber style, which he demonstrated when he effortlessly and brutally dispatched the traitorous Dark Jedi Nefta and Sedai with very little difficulty on his part. It is this trend that has led me to believe that Sedriss specializes in Form 5, Xian/Djem So. Meant to act as Sedriss's answer to the lack of offense, Xian focuses on attack and aggression, completely destroying your enemy with a lot of powerful strikes. This description pretty much sums up Sedriss' style as a whole, as he is such an aggressive duelist. Not to mention, in the audio drama of Dark Empire 2, Sedriss was shown to actually engage Luke Skywalker in a duel, and his skills actually forced Luke to resort to his Force abilities.
Your meager skills with the lightsaber will not protect you from me, Skywalker.
It's not just the lightsaber, Sedriss. It's the Force that wields it. The dark side is narrow, Sedriss. You know nothing of the Force, just as the dead Emperor knew nothing of the true power. And so I've already won.
Won nothing, Skywalker. The Emperor is not dead. You haven't killed him. You can never kill him.
What? What do you mean?
Luke, watch out. He's going for the girl.
Though this was well before Luke reached his prime, this is still an incredibly impressive feat in and of itself, showing that Sedriss' reputation was well deserved.
Darth Nihl used a long-handled single-bladed lightsaber, and according to his entry within the Legacy Era campaign guide, he developed his own unique combat style. He was neither a committed acrobat nor overwhelmingly strong or powerful. He blended his weapon's ability to marshal greater amounts of leverage and reach with speed and evasiveness and extreme close-quarters fighting. This can be observed by his use of hand-to-hand combat, his preference to jump or spin clear of incoming attacks, and his reliance on his ability to surprise in order to defeat his opponents. The unusual weapon and his combination of speed and greater reach made him a more difficult to predict adversary than most. He proved his skill when he literally and figuratively disarmed the Zabrak Jedi Master Wolf Sazin, who was the instructor of Cade Skywalker. He was noted to have personally claimed the lives of many Jedi during the attack on Ossus, and while he never defeated Cade, he was capable of holding his own with the powerful young Jedi for a lengthy period of time. It appeared that Darth Nihl functioned at his best when he was able to immediately surprise or off-balance his opponent with his unusual tactics, but if he failed in that regard, then the contest quickly became far less one-sided in his favor. In my estimation, I would say he was far more reliant on his ability to surprise rather than legitimately overpower or outmaneuver his competition. He was a talented duelist, but the effectiveness of his approach has produced such inconsistent results, likely pointing to the conclusion that his custom fighting form lacked a clear direction.
While Nihl is a skilled swordsman, his most prominent opponents were only ever defeated while caught off guard or distracted. This can be seen by his attack on Ossus, which led to the death of Cole Skywalker and the defeat of Wolf Sazin. Nihl never defeated Cade Skywalker in fair combat, but he has been shown to be a rival of Darth Talon's, and one of the most capable warriors of his era, otherwise he wouldn't be the Emperor's hand, nor would he have been any good during Crate's march on Coruscant. While Nihl is accomplished, he's also inconsistent and out of his depth. Sedriss, by contrast, was an avid swordsman and dedicated much of his time to improving his dueling skills. Not to mention, Sedriss has matched and even defeated several Jedi and Darkside adepts in combat, and even stood up to Luke Skywalker, no small feat in and of itself. Sedriss gets the edge as a martial artist and lightsaber duelist. Now we compare their Force abilities. While Sedris' dueling abilities were very well honed, the same cannot be said for his Force abilities. While he is a very powerful individual, like his ancestor Ulik, most of his focus was on blade-to-blade combat. That being said though, Sedris was still a capable Darksider in his own right. He was said to apply powerful force pushes and shoves that were said to be able to hurdle very large objects with ease. He was also very skilled in force speed, and was able to move faster than even his fellow Dark Jedi could perceive. Sedris also had a few very powerful Darkside abilities at his command. He was quite skilled in Force Choke, and was said to favor it heavily, as he demonstrated against Cam Solasar, though Luke Skywalker was able to block it after studying from the Tedran holocron. He has also utilized powerful Darkside energies in an attempt to kill Ud Binar, though admittedly this was very situational and only seen once, as Sedris was enraged and clashing with Ud Binar, a powerful Jedi Master. In terms of energy-based attacks though, Sedris has demonstrated little to no proficiency, as he is never shown to demonstrate Force Lightning or Force Blasts. This is admittedly surprising as they are such staples of Darkside power. Overall, Sedris is powerful and a definite force to be reckoned with, but severely lacking in variety.
A powerful Force sensitive whose study of the Force was devoted to Darkside teachings, Darth Nihl was a competent student of the Sith arts. A skilled hunter and tracker, Nihl demonstrated the ability to tame a ferocious Tukata during his search for Darth Talon on Korriban. He was also noted to have drawn on his connection to the Force during his early years on Nagi as a warlord, an impressive accomplishment given his lack of any formalized training at the time. Darth Nihl also displayed his ability to use telekinesis and Force lightning in battle. He has used the Force to choke, subdue, and electrocute his opponents, and he has proven that the magnitude of his abilities are sufficient to fatally injure even members of the Skywalker lineage, Cole and Cade both having found themselves on the receiving end of his power. However, much as his effectiveness in a lightsaber duel was influenced by his ability to shock and surprise, his two most prominent victims were only subdued and/or killed because of the intervention of others. Cade Skywalker had just defeated Talon in combat before he found himself in Nihil's grip, and it took half a dozen Sith to finish off Cole Skywalker, who had managed to beat back Darth Nihl after the latter's defeat of Wolf Sazin. While I do think Darth Nihl was skilled and had a respectable measure of raw power, I do not consider him the equal of either Cade or his father in terms of combat effectiveness, either through use of the lightsaber or the Force. Ultimately, while Sedriss was powerful, he was just another of Palpatine's pawns. His lack of speciality with the true Sith arts left him with few avenues to employ his abilities. Due to his greater variety of modes of attack, Darth Nihl gets the edge as a Force wielder.
Now we compare armament and tools. Sedriss wielded a standard single-bladed lightsaber. It appears to follow a very simple design, with a smooth hilt and hand grip at the top. While the art for the Dark Empire series depicts most lightsabers as light blue, several other art illustrations depict Sedriss with a typical red blade. This means his weapon utilizes a single red synthetic crystal as the focusing lens. Overall, a very reliable weapon, but painfully standard.
Darth Nihl utilized a long-handled single-bladed lightsaber with a standard blade length and a red-hued synthetic Sith crystal. While weapons of this type, along with light pikes which could come equipped with shorter blades, utilized the same principles as the saber staff, they did not offer as many benefits on either an offensive or defensive front. The presence of only a single blade meant that it was no easier to attack or defend against multiple opponents. The only two special qualities imparted by the weapon were the greater amounts of leverage imparted by the long handle and the weapon's ability to be thrown like a javelin. Although the weapon did not carry all of the benefits of the saber staff, it was saddled with all of its apparent weaknesses, namely the negation of certain maneuvers from a combatant's repertoire, as certain moves were made either more difficult or altogether impossible, and of course the presence of a vulnerable target in the form of the elongated hilt. In my opinion, with the exception of the light whip, the long-handled lightsaber is the least practical weapon of the designs commonly favored by the Jedi and Sith orders. While
Nihil's weapon is of a unique design, the main attribute here is practicality. Nihl's weapon has far too many hindrances, and having his hilt as a massive target is a huge detriment. While Sedris' lightsaber is standard, it doesn't sacrifice maneuverability. Sedris gets the edge in armament and tools. And now, we've reached the verdict.
Both Sedris and Darth Nihl are very similar on a biographical level. They're both ambitious, powerful Force sensitives, who each serve the strongest personification of the dark side of their respective eras. And despite the fact that they have been overlooked by their masters in favor of others, they're still fiercely loyal lieutenants and capable combatants.
In an overall sense, Darth Nihl is probably the more well-rounded fighter. His knowledge of Sith techniques and his intelligent and conniving manner speaks to his potential as a commander. The problem is, though, his unique fighting style, difficult to defend against as it may be, also leaves him without a real game plan. Sedriss, on the other hand, lives up to his ancestors' example. He's a swordsman through and through, and in all likelihood, would be able to put up with whatever Nihl is bringing to the table.
If this contest played out as a pure demonstration of their talents with the Force, Darth Nihl would most likely sweep the edge. However, the odds of the fight playing out without a clash of their blades are astonishingly high. In the end, the real question that this boils down to is whether or not Darth Nihl can defend against Sedriss. The answer to that is yes, but only for a time. Darth Nihl can take a good amount of punishment, but he's not an overwhelming power duelist, and he is heavily encumbered by his impractical choice of weapon.
The fight is likely to play out much as the duel between Nihl and Cade Skywalker went during the latter's escape from the temple on Coruscant. Nihl would hold out for a lengthy period of time, and manage to get in a few good hits, but it's only a matter of time before he leaves himself overexposed and winds up fatally injured. We proclaim Executor Sedriss the victor.
Well, that's all for today, folks. Remember, this is all our opinion, so no hard feelings in case Darth Nihl happens to be your favorite Sith Lord. Thank you all for watching. Leave a comment if you have one. Don't forget to check out EvanNova95's channel, as this was his idea, and we'll catch you on the next video, guys. Bye.